Lesson 2, Working with Events and Logs. TSM client and server events can be passed to external interfaces. On the left here we have a list of our event receivers. Your TSM server console and the activity log. You can use event viewers for Windows, file and user exits. You can use Tivoli Enterprise Console. For example, if you're using Tivoli Common Reporting, you're going to have the Tivoli Enterprise Console. You can also use SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol, and also with Windows, the event log. Eligible events, any client message that can be logged, and all server messages with associated message number events. This is a list of some of the commands you can use for filtering and logging your events. Begin event logging starts event logging for a specific receiver. Enable events, disable events, enables or disables specific events to be passed to one or more receivers. Query enabled, list of all enabled or disabled events. Query event rules, displays a summary of enabled events. And end event logging stops the logging for the specific receiver. Refer to your administrator's reference guide for details on these commands. For the command event logging, this is the syntax. Begin event logging is required in the command. All is the default. So if you want to start all of your events, you just need to type in BEG space EV. That begins all event logging. Or you can specify specific event logging. These are the other options you can use. The option all is the default. Query enable. This is going to show you which events are enabled. For the node DB server 1, you would do the command to find out what is on the console receiver. Query enable console node equals DB server 1. So all events that are enabled for DB server 1 will be displayed in the output of the query. The query event command is going to give you a list of scheduled events and their status. The query act log will display messages that the server generates. In the notes under the slide in your student guide are a list of all the parameters you can use with the query act log command. You can search for specific node names, originators, session IDs, and text strings that you can search for when enclosed in quotation marks. You can also use the Administration Center to manage your event logs. This example shows client events that are enabled for the TSM console. Remember, to see the TSM console, you'll start it with DSM ADMC-console mode. The example here is enabling events for the console where the errors are a severe level by node. TSM events are stored in the activity log, and they can't be disabled. The server information in the activity log is used to resolve critical problems. By default, all client events are also enabled in the server activity log. If you do not enable it differently, all client events will be enabled in the server activity log. Given that the activity log has a lot of information, you might want to set up pruning. What this does is it sets an activity log retention either in size or by time. So you could set your activity log retention for a specific number of days. Say you want to keep everything for 1 week, you would set activity log retention for 7 days. You could also set it by size, so that when it reaches a maximum size, it would be pruned, starting with the oldest log. This is a list of some of the other client log files that you'll have. You have your DSM schedule log, information about all your schedules, the DSM error log, information about errors that happened during processing, and then you also have one just for your web client messages. Remember, your web client is your backup archive client that you access with a web browser. The location by default is in the client directory. Audit logs. Audit logging is going to generate an audit log that has an entry for every file. You're going to specify the path and file name for storing the logs when the option is enabled. By default, the audit log will be dsmaudit.log and in the same directory as your DSM error log. Audit logs can be set up for either full or basic level of information.